All right, y'all. We got some serious plot leaks about Spider-Man 2 for Marvel's Insomniac game. So it starts off with Yuri being a serial killer, and Peter and Miles are on the hunt to stop her. So on the way, they have a bit of conflict as what they should do as Spider-Man, because Miles has a different way of doing things and Peter has his own way of doing things. And Peter wants Miles to follow the leader, and Miles doesn't agree with that. So they have a bit of conflict and it gets a little bit rough for them in the game. So in the meantime, Harry comes back and Peter interacts with Harry, and the symbiote gets onto Mary Jane's purse, and then it gets onto Peter. So things get real. So that's the start of the black suit. And this is earlier in the game in the first act. So we have the birth of Black Spider-Man. Different effects happen to Peter. He's starting to be more aggressive. So Norman, on the other hand, hires Kraven to kill Spider-Man, Peter, and Miles, because they're probably a concern for him. So he hires Kraven, and Kraven starts hunting Spider-Man. So beware, this is just a plot leak and could be just a rumor. So take this with a grain of salt, but if it's true, then other details in this leak might confirm what I think is going to happen. However, it also disconfirms something that I predicted or made an assumption of about this game, because it kind of reversed it. So moving on, Norman hires Kraven to hunt down Spider-Man, and they battle, and Spider-Man gets a little more aggressive and defeats Kraven with the black suit. And Miles notices that Peter is getting a bit fucked up off of this symbiote. So Peter and Miles goes up to the church where he takes off the suit from the classic comics and scenes and stuff. Takes off the suit, and in the meantime, Kraven escapes. So he takes off the suit, and the suit gets onto Eddie Brock, which is confirming, not necessarily 100% confirming, because this is just a plot leak, also a rumor, that Eddie is Venom. And regardless if this plot leak is true or not, I am still sticking with the fact that Eddie Brock is Venom, because he's always been Venom. He is the main primary Venom ever. So it makes no sense for Harry to be fucking Venom. He's not Venom. Regardless if this is not true or not, Eddie is Venom. I don't care what anybody says. Eddie is going to be Venom. Anyways, moving on. Eddie becomes Venom, and he kidnaps Mary Jane, and there is a battle between him and Kraven. Kraven thinks that Venom is Spider-Man and fails to defeat Venom, and Venom kills Kraven by biting his head off. Then shit gets real. Norman tries to convince Harry to become the Green Goblin. Harry attempts to become that, and in fact fails, and Norman kills Harry himself and becomes the Green Goblin, a much more better Green Goblin. Now, this disconfirms what I assumed would happen with Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3, because this plot leak really shows how evil Norman is, rather than him caring for his son. So I'm kind of in disbelief of what's going on here with this plot leak, because if Norman is going to become the Green Goblin, what I would assume is that he would become the Green Goblin because of his grief of losing his son, not because of his envy of killing Spider-Man and his son not being evil himself, let alone killing his own son. So I kind of don't believe this plot leak. So I made an assumption. I made a video about how Norman will become the Green Goblin. Like I said, it's just my theory. At the time, what I really said was Harry is going to die and Norman is going to kind of blame Spider-Man for that. He's going to lose his fortune. Everybody's going to hate Norman and it's going to drive him insane. That was my original take on how Norman would become the Green Goblin in Insomniac Spider-Man. Now, if this is true, if Norman kills his son and then becomes a more advanced Green Goblin than Harry, this is really, really reversed and really fucked up. Number one, it disclaims my theory 100%. It is the complete opposite of my theory. Because what my theory about how Norman becomes a Green Goblin does is it shows the motivation of what builds him up to becoming the Green Goblin. It shows the motivation behind it. You understand why he became the Green Goblin. Like him losing his fortune, he's rich. He has a dying son. He was going for mayor. If he loses all of that, he loses his son, it will drive him insane. Now, if Norman just becomes insane out of nowhere, well, shit, that's just an evil motherfucker. I don't know what to say about that. Anyways, moving on. Going with the plot leak, Norman kills his son, becomes a Green Goblin, shit gets real, and then Spider-Man defeats Venom, and shit carries on from there. I don't know what else happens, but that's the leak. Other villains rumored to be in the game is Mysterio. That's good news. Also Sandman. And here's the thing about Venom. Venom is not playable, but there will be playable scenes as Eddie Brock doing photography, just like we had scenes with Mary Jane. So you won't necessarily be able to play as Venom, but as Eddie Brock, and maybe past situations with Peter so you can see the buildup of their beef. Maybe Peter did something to Eddie Brock. Because Eddie Brock is not just going to be randomly there getting the symbiote and hating Peter for no reason. They have to show the history of Eddie and Peter's beef. There has to be a motivation behind every villain. So in these scenes of playing as Eddie Brock in the photography, we're going to see him interact with Peter, see the beef, and understand why Eddie hates Peter and kidnapped Mary Jane. But like I said, this is all a rumor. This is a plot leak. Like I said, it's just a plot leak. It's not the real plot. We don't know if it's the real plot or not. If Insomniac didn't confirm it, it's not 100% true. 100% true. Because some plot leaks does have extra and nothing true in it at all. Remember Spider-Man No Way Home? A lot of that shit was true, but some of it wasn't. So, and then again, sometimes shit can change behind the scenes. Sometimes the plot leak can be true, but they switch it up after the plot leak has been released. But that's only movies. Video games, that shit is already made. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe. If this is true, I'll be upset that we can't play as Venom. But we had a Venom solo movie. Maybe they can make a Venom solo game. It's possible. So, I don't know. What do you think about this plot leak? Is this interesting? Do you like my theory better on Norman becoming the Green Goblin? Or is this one more better? Because mine makes a lot more sense, because losing your fortune, your son, and your people, your support, that would drive you insane. So if this guy just goes crazy out of nowhere, hires Kraven to kill Spider-Man, what is your motivation? What are you doing this for? You are a rich billionaire. Why do you do this? You have to have some sort of motivation. So for Norman to kill his own son for not being the Goblin, it doesn't make sense. This new plot leak doesn't make sense to me. That's the only thing in this plot leak that does not make sense. the Green Goblin killing his own son and becoming the Goblin. It does not make sense. Norman has to have a better motivation than that. How can he go from saving his son with the symbiote to killing his son? It doesn't make sense. So far, that's the only thing that don't add up for me. If it doesn't add up to you, if what I said in that other video of how he becomes the Green Goblin, it's going to be in a link it's going to be a video at the end of this video that shows you that video. You can watch it. I explain everything. It's just a theory, but if this plot leak is correct, I don't like it regarding the Green Goblin anyway. But like, comment, subscribe. Are you getting this game? I already know you getting it. Subscribe, Marvel fans. We die hard for this shit. Let's get it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm done.